The dwarfs of Warhammer Fantasy are basically grumpy, bearded master builders who live in giant underground fortresses and take their grudges very seriously. They love ale, shiny metal things, and arguing about whose beard is the best. And when they're not crafting incredible weapons or tinkering with loud machines, they're usually busy fighting orcs, glaring at elves, or adding yet another complaint to their gigantic book of grudges. But this is not just any dwarf. This is our jolly, rat-murdering, chaos-vanquishing machine. This is a fully loaded, deep-cut, axe-swinging breakdown of Bardin Goreksson. Now then, who is Bardin? Bardin Goreksson isn't just a dwarf. He is the platonic ideal of a Warhammer dwarf, condensed into a boisterous, hairy cannonball of personality. He is from Carrick Norn, which is a mountain hold known for its surprisingly agreeable dwarves. In the dwarf world, that means they argue only 3 hours a day instead of 10. Professionally, he is a ranger veteran, which in dwarf society means you hike miles alone through monster-ridden wilderness, you know the price of every ale between 2 mountain ranges, and you qualify as a conspiracy theorist because you have personally witnessed everything terrifying the world has to offer. And when it comes to Skaven, well, Bardin treats Skaven like the world's worst HOA. They are constantly causing problems, everyone else denies they exist, and he is always right. He practically glows with vindication every mission where ratmen show up. See, I told ye, ratmen! It's the closest he ever gets to pure joy. Well, apart from ale and axes. Now, despite being from a culture famous for grudges longer than human bloodlines, Bardin is cheerful. Shockingly so. He approaches every horrific Vermintide mission with the enthusiasm of a golden retriever, the confidence of a drunk uncle at a wedding, and the tactical approach of a bowling ball. He can be knee-deep in plague-ridden horrors and still sound like he's planning a picnic. Which segues nicely into Bardin's emotional spectrum, which can be summed up to happy while fighting, happy with ale, happy while talking about axes, annoyed at elf, and furious when someone insults dwarfs. Now then, weapon philosophy and careers. Axes are not tools for Bardin, they're a lifestyle. And he treats ranged weapons as a polite courtesy. Basically something to do on the way to punching something extremely hard. Even bombs are just round axes that explode. In Bardin's worldview, 2 axes means you're on the clock. Hammers are just axes that hit differently. And crossbows are distance axes. But what are some career choices for our short king? Each Bardin career feels like a parallel universe version of him that diverge at the point of beard oil choice. And first on our list is the famous Ironbreaker Bardin is basically a small tank powered by anger and ale. And with his Gromril armor that doesn't just protect him, it also taunts enemies into wasting their lives against it. Bardin basically becomes the gravitational center of violence. Every enemy in a 12-block radius decides he is the main character, and he survives things that would kill a cave troll. Ranger Bardin is the sneakiest dwarf alive, which means he is moderately detectable instead of unquestionably loud. A walking brewery of bombs, and a connoisseur of crossbows and emergency ale. He finds bombs everywhere, in barrels, in caves, under rocks, in your pockets. His stealth mechanic is basically hide briefly, then unhide very loudly, and in a rare twist, he doesn't use his ranged weapon as a melee bludgeon. Ranger Bardin is the closest we get to a chill version of him. I mean, still not chill, but less axe. And then on the completely other side of the spectrum, we have Slayer Bardin. Slayer Bardin is the purest, most uncut form of dwarven chaos. He has no armor, zip, none. He's allergic to shirts. However, huge mohawk. The larger it is, the more DPS he deals. He jumps into combat with zero hesitation and negative self-preservation. Slayers in lore take a vow to seek a glorious death as redemption for past dishonor. Vermintide Bardin seem to have interpreted this as fight everything twice as hard so it can't kill me, then apologize later. In game it means he moves like a caffeinated raccoon, hits like a freight train of iron and fury, and leaves the team screaming, "Bardin, please come back!" And last but not least, the Outcast Engineer. Bardin as the Outcast Engineer is the universe where, what if Bardin got tired of swinging axes and decided to strap a Gatling gun to his soul? This is the career that screams, "Do you smell oil? If that's the case, good. Stand behind me if you enjoy living. Axes are fine, but have you tried industrial quantity firepower?" The Engineer provides massive fire support, elite shredding power, crowd control via overwhelming Daka, and emotional supports if your emotions are fear and loud noises. But with all of this, what is his relation with the Uberschreik 5? They are wholesome brawling buddies, mutual respect, genuine fondness with zero sarcasm, and they complement each other constantly. The closest thing Bardin has to a brother in the group. In short, the bromance that holds the team together. Constantly shooting competitive jabs along with aggressive banter and constant teasing and insults. Both pretend to dislike each other but trust each other completely when it matters. In short, I'd die for you, but I'll complain the entire time. Explosions, enthusiasm, and poor safety decisions. They both love fire, along with loud combat. Sienna encourages Bardin's tinkering, which doesn't help with how much things go boom. They hype each other's destructive tendencies. In short, they are team fire and bombs. They are duty-bound co-workers who disagree constantly. Saltz disapproves of Bardin's invention because it could be heresy. Bardin finds Saltz too serious. But they have a mutual respect through shared battle grit. In short, responsible adults, but very annoyed ones. Together, they are the messy, loud, bickering clan Bardin never asked for, but absolutely cherishes. And there we are, a relatively short deep cut into Bardin Goreksson, our famous dwarf.